Every Reese's you have ever eaten tastes the way it does because of a mistake. The peanuts inside are deliberately over-roasted, past the point where other manufacturers stop. That heat creates the bold, granular flavor no other cup can match. A faulty roaster in the original factory overheated a batch that should have been thrown out. Someone tasted it instead. That was 1928. The recipe has not changed since. The man behind it was not a candy maker. He was a bankrupt dairy farmer with 16 children who bought 50 pounds of chocolate from his own boss, hauled it home in his son's wagon, and used it to build a competing candy company from his basement. So how does a 1-cent accident end up becoming the most dominant candy brand in America? And what exactly happens inside the factory today? Reese's is not just popular, it is dominant. 62% larger than the second-place candy brand in the United States. $3.1 billion in annual revenue. 6 of the top 20 chocolate items in America carry the Reese's name. During Halloween, Easter, Valentine's Day, and Christmas, Reese's controls 47% of all seasonal candy sales. The next brand holds 10%. Enough cups are produced every year to circle the Earth 7 times, and all of it traces back to a 1-cent candy invented in a basement by a man who had already gone bankrupt once using chocolate he bought from his own boss. So how do they actually make them? It starts with peanuts, around 2,500 pounds per batch sourced from the southeastern United States. The peanuts arrive raw, cleaned, and sorted by size. Then they go into the roaster. Here is the first thing most people do not know. Reese's roasts their peanuts beyond the standard level, deliberately. Most peanut butter manufacturers pull the roast early to keep a mild, neutral flavor. Reese's pushes further. The extra heat darkens the peanut, breaks down more of the natural oils, and creates a deeper, bolder flavor with a slightly granular texture. That is the signature. And it was never supposed to happen. A faulty roaster in H.B. Reese's original factory overheated a batch. Instead of throwing them out, he tasted them. Better than anything he had made before. Every batch since has been roasted the same way. Once the peanuts cool, they are ground into a paste and blended with sugar, salt, and a small amount of stabilizer. The mixture becomes what the factory calls cup butter. Not quite liquid, not quite solid. It holds its shape when pressed into a disc but stays soft enough to melt on your tongue. Those discs are called peanut butter plugs. Each one is pre-formed before it ever touches chocolate. Meanwhile, the chocolate is tempered. Milk chocolate arrives from Hershey's own production line, heated and cooled in precise cycles until the cocoa butter crystals align. This is what gives the shell its clean snap when you bite through. The assembly line moves fast. Paper cups are formed and placed into molds. Those ridges along the sides are structural, not decorative. They keep the cup from collapsing during filling. A first layer of liquid chocolate drops into each cup. This is the bowl, the bottom, and the walls that will hold everything together. Next, the peanut butter plug drops in on top of the chocolate. The conveyor belt vibrates. That vibration is what spreads the filling evenly across the surface. Without it, the peanut butter would sit in a lump in the center. Then comes the final layer, liquid chocolate poured across the top. A precisely aimed puff of air flattens the chocolate and creates the smooth surface. The cups travel through a cooling tunnel for 30 minutes. The chocolate sets from liquid to solid, locking the filling inside. That transition is where the snap comes from. The moment your teeth break through the shell and hit the soft filling underneath. 800 pairs per minute come off the line at some facilities. Wrapped in foil, sealed in orange packaging, shipped worldwide. Billions of cups every year. Same recipe. Same over-roasted peanut technique. Same Hershey chocolate that H.B. Reese first hauled home in a wagon. H.B. Reese was born in 1879 on Frosty Hill Farm in York County, Pennsylvania. An only child, he married Blanche Edna Hyson in 1900. They had 16 children. Reese managed dairy farms and his father-in-law's cannery, always searching for work that could feed a family that never stopped growing. In 1917, he answered an ad from Milton Hershey seeking dairy farm managers. Hershey hired him and promoted him to manage the round barn. an experimental dairy operation. Then in 1919, Hershey shut it down. Reese was out of work. He tried candy, the R&R Candy Company in Hummelstown. It failed. By 1921, he was back at Hershey, in the shipping room. But the idea never left. He started making candy in his basement again. Using Hershey chocolate, he bought 50 pounds at a time. A handshake deal with Milton Hershey. Reese would buy all his chocolate from Hershey. The two became lifelong friends. Not betrayal, respectful rivalry. By 1923, he incorporated the H.B. Reese Candy Company. By 1928, he invented the peanut butter cup, 1 cent each. He called them penny cups. By 1935, during the Great Depression, he paid off every mortgage he owed. When World War II brought sugar rationing, he dropped every other product and bet everything on the peanut butter cup. Peanut butter filling used less sugar than anything else he made. Sales doubled every 4 years after 1943. Reese died in 1956. His 6 sons finished the factory he started building and made a decision that would echo for decades. In 1963, they merged with Hershey in a tax-free stock deal, 666,316 shares. At the time, worth about $23.5 million. After 63 years of stock splits, those shares now represent 16 million Hershey shares valued at over $4.4 billion, paying $92.9 million in annual cash dividends. The basement candy became one of the most valuable brand acquisitions in American history. But in February 2026, something cracked. Brad Reese, H.B. Reese's grandson, tasted a Valentine's Day Reese's mini heart and said it was off. He checked the label. Chocolate candy coating, peanut butter cream, not milk chocolate, not peanut butter. He wrote an open letter calling the changes a betrayal of consumer trust. Hershey first said the core recipe had not changed. Then, CEO Kirk Tanner confirmed some products had been using compound coatings instead of real chocolate. Cocoa prices had surged. Hershey announced it would return all Reese's products to classic recipes by 2027. But the real weight of this story is not the controversy, it is where H.B. Reese is buried. Hershey Cemetery, meters from Milton Hershey's grave, the man who gave him a job, the man who sold him chocolate, the man whose company bought his recipe, and 63 years later, had to be reminded to keep making it right. From a basement in Hershey, Pennsylvania, 50 pounds of chocolate at a time pulled in a child's wagon, to billions of cups circling the earth, 1 penny each. That is where it started. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.